I think if you have the choice between renting or buying London as we speak, again, prime central London I'm focusing on, I think that if one had the cash to put down as a deposit, I would be looking at buying, because I think that the future values are going to go up. Renting is very expensive, very competitive, difficult to achieve, and at the end of the day, the payments that you make in rent have gone nowhere. They're not servicing a debt, they're just simply going to a landlord. So if you can, I would buy.
If I saw the perfect property, I'd buy it. Because you're going to be buying for, notwithstanding market conditions, if you're going to be, because of stamp duty, nobody's buying for the short term. In the old days when stamp duty was 1%, you could move every 3 years. That's what people did. They would move trade, but with stamp duty, you can't do that. So if you see the perfect property, regardless of the market, my saying the market's going to flatline at best and probably go down, you're going to live in it for a long time, because that is the trend now because of STLT, so you just buy it. But if you don't see the very perfect property, to answer your question, then rent, because rent, at least you know what your downside exposure is.
Rent or buying in London, which is better? Well, it depends on where you are in your life cycle. But I think fundamentally, of course, if you can buy, it's always better, because often the money that you pay towards your mortgage payments is not that dissimilar to what you pay for your rental. So the key is, when are the mortgage products going to adapt so that people can get back on the sales market rather, with smaller deposits and long-term mortgages where they can afford to pay the monthly payments.
Rent or buy in London, which is better? Now, that's a very emotive question at the moment, with mortgages having doubled and people finding mortgages very hard to get. It's gone towards renting. However, rental prices have also skyrocketed 30 to 40%, and rental stock is down because landlords are experiencing the same problems. Their mortgages have doubled, yet the rents, they may be in a contract for a year, 18 months, whereby they're now having to pay into their flat. So it's troubled times in that regard. So if you can rent and watch what the market's doing, absolutely fine. But if you've got cash, as ever, cash is king. Buy something and watch everybody else struggle.
I think it depends on how long you intend to hold the property for, because if you are a long-term buyer or a long-term resident, you may as well buy, because with renting you are not getting anything, but with buying you do get capital growth. If it's a short-term solution, then renting may be better, because the costs of purchasing can be prohibitive.
Always buy. I have to say that, I'm a seller's agent.
Rent or buy in London, which is better? That depends on your medium-term view. Renting is very difficult because there's very little to rent and it's costing you a lot of money to do so. Buying, I think, would be a great idea, particularly if you want to buy something unmodernised, because you're going to get a pretty good deal, I would suggest. And if you can leave a property empty for 2 years, then you're going to save 75% on the VAT.
Depends on your timeline in terms of renting or buying in London. If you're here for the long term, renting for the long term is dead money. And time in the market, one will generally see prices rise. If one's here for the shorter term, probably more sensible to rent, bearing in mind the cost of entry of stamp duty in purchasing a property. But ultimately, it's on a case-by-case basis.
Rent or buy in London, which is better? I mean, we deal with all kinds of purchasers and tenants, so it's impossible to say outright which is better. I mean, it's really dependent on an individual's circumstances. London's quite a transient market, so a lot of people prefer not to buy because they don't know how long they'll stay here. People that are here and they know that they're here long term may have more of an inclination to purchase because rents are ever increasing, so they'll be paying more in rent. But I suppose on the flip side of that, obviously, your interest rates are increasing as well. So, even your purchasing costs are increasing. What I would say, the plug, is that we always try and give all of our customers and clients sound advice. So we would always try and help them make the decision that's right for them.